Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. When you ask people about their family history, you'll often hear something like this. My grandmother was pure Irish, or my grandfather's side was completely German, no mixture at all. Some families even have stories of an ancestor who was full-blooded Cherokee, or purely Scottish, or entirely Italian. These stories are told with pride, and they give families a sense of identity. They make it feel like our roots are simple and easy to explain. But here's the truth. The idea that an ancestor was 100% any ethnicity is almost never accurate. Human history just doesn't work that way. Borders shift, people migrate, cultures overlap, families mix, and the further back you go, the messier it gets. So why do these myths exist in the first place? A lot of it comes down to identity. When immigrants came to America, they clung to their homeland as a way of preserving pride and culture. Irish families said, "We're Irish." German families said, "We're German." Italians, Poles, Swedes, Jews, and many others carried their homeland identity across the ocean. It was a badge of honor in the face of discrimination. Over time, those labels hardened into family stories. Instead of saying mostly Irish or Irish with a little Scottish, the details faded away and only the neat, proud declaration remained. We're pure Irish. Nationalism also played its part. In the 19th and 20th centuries, many nations promoted the idea of ethnic purity, and people absorbed those messages into their personal stories. A man from Poland might call himself purely Polish, even if his grandmother had German roots or his grandfather was Jewish. Each generation simplified the story further until the complexity disappeared. The problem is, history shows us something very different. Take Germany, for example. The Germany we know today did not exist until 1871. Before then, it was a collection of kingdoms, duchies, and free cities. Someone who called themselves German in 1850 might have had ancestors from Poland, Bohemia, or Austria. Ireland is another good example. Many families that claim to be purely Irish actually have Scottish ancestors who moved to Ulster in the 1600s. And Eastern Europe is an even bigger puzzle. Poles, Ukrainians, Lithuanians, Russians, and Jews lived side by side for centuries. They traded, worked, and married across cultural lines. Borders shifted constantly. A family might live in the same village for generations, yet be counted as Polish one year, Austrian the next, and Russian the year after that. Now add DNA testing into the mix. Companies like Ancestry DNA and 23andMe give you results in neat percentages. You might see 45% Irish, 30% English, 15% German, 10% Scandinavian. That looks precise, but it's not as exact as it seems. DNA testing compares your results to modern reference populations. People in northern France and southern England share a lot of markers. Germans and Poles overlap too because their ancestors mixed for centuries. If the company tells you your ancestor was 100% Irish, what it really means is their DNA looks most like today's Irish samples. It does not mean there weren't Scottish or Viking ancestors further back. And those results change over time. As the companies improve their science and update their panels, your numbers shift. One year, you might be 20% Scandinavian, the next year you're 5%. That does not mean your ancestors changed. It just means the test got better at reading your DNA. Real-world stories show this clearly. One family swore their ancestor was completely Italian. He was born in Sicily, so it seemed to check out, but church registers showed his mother was Maltese, and his grandmother came from Tunisia. Another family believed their great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee. Census records listed her as white. Her parents' marriage record showed European ancestry. And DNA tests of her descendants revealed only a trace of native ancestry. The story had grown larger than the evidence. Another researcher thought her family was pure Irish. Land records from the 1600s revealed the line actually came from Scotland during the Ulster plantation. Over time, the Scottish origin was forgotten, and only the Irish identity remained. So, how do you research ethnicity the right way? You start with documents. Birth, marriage, and death records sometimes list places of origin, languages, or religious backgrounds. Church records can be even richer. Baptismal registers often note sponsors or godparents, who usually belong to the same ethnic community. Census records sometimes ask about mother tongue or parents' birthplace. Naturalization papers are some of the best sources because they often name the town or village your ancestors came from. Newspapers and local histories can also provide cultural clues, especially if they were published in an immigrant community's native language. DNA should be used carefully. It is not proof, but it is a helpful clue. A Scandinavian percentage might lead you to look at Viking influence in Northern Europe. A trace of Jewish ancestry might prompt you to explore Eastern European communities. Use DNA as a guide that points toward records, not as the final word. And here's the best part. Once you let go of the idea of pure ancestry, your family story becomes much more interesting. Instead of one flat identity, you get a tapestry. A pure German ancestor might turn out to have Polish grandparents. A pure Irish ancestor might have a Scottish grandfather. A pure Italian ancestor might have Greek or Maltese roots. Each layer adds richness and new connections. It makes the story bigger, not smaller. So, was your ancestor truly 100% one ethnicity? No, that's the myth. The real story is that your ancestors were part of the long human pattern of mixing, migrating, and blending. They carried multiple influences, multiple cultures, and multiple traditions. Every record you uncover adds to that mosaic. The real story is this: your heritage is not simple, and it is not pure. It is layered, complex, and interconnected. Your ancestors were not just Irish or German or Italian or Cherokee. They were human beings shaped by the currents of history who passed that blended legacy on to you. And that story, with all of its richness and complexity, is far more interesting than any myth of purity. If you've got a hard-to-find ancestor you're stuck on, I'd love to hear about it. Just head over to ancestralfindings.com and click on Contact to send me a message. While you're there, take advantage of our free weekly genealogy lookups. Explore thousands of articles and enjoy hundreds of podcast episodes. We've been helping family history researchers since 1995. And if you're looking for even more, check out our Genealogy Gold Q&A series over on Patreon. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy searching.